Okay. So today we are going to talk about the switch. What do you mean by switch? Okay. So switch is very interesting functionality. So if you have done any kind of programming, you might have seen the case statement. Okay. The meaning of case statement. So switch works just like a case statement in Azure Data Factory. For example, let's see if you have something like you can say like for calendar only. If I take the example of calendar, right? So in 1 year we have how many months? We have 12 months, right? First is a January, okay, and second one is a February, third one is a March, something like that. So on we have 12 months, so on, right? So you want to perform some activity. Okay, for example, you want to calculate the salary day. Okay, salary day is basically either it could be last working day, first day of the month, or whatever dates it is. So salary date you want to, calculate. Okay, so if your month is equals to January, then salary date will become 31st, something like that, right? And if for February, the salary date would be 28th, right? If it is March, it would be 30th, right? Similarly, for April, it will be 31st, right? So the last working day we are calculating as a salary day. Or you can have any other example also. That's not appropriate that only one example we can take, right? We can have some more explanation of the case statement. Okay, for example, if we have some colors. Okay, so if my color is red, okay, you want to do some other activity. Okay, uh, so based on some case to case basis, you are switching your actions. Okay, so this is the meaning of case statement. So here in Azure Data Factory also we can talk about this switch condition. Okay, just like the other programming language. In Azure Data Factory, we can understand with the help of one basic example here. Now, what we are going to do, uh, I'm having a input file. No, sorry, input container, and I'm having, let's say, we have some output container like output one is there, output two is there. So I'm having multiple, or you can say that you have actually, yeah. You can have multiple directories within the container, or you can have multiple containers. So let's say you have two container, output one and output two. These are the two containers. So it does not matter. So the concept is you have a file known as sales.csv, right? This is the file which is available in your input container, and you have two output containers, output one and output two. So this is a very basic example which I'm telling you so that you could be able to understand the concept of switch. So what I'm trying to do is I'm having this data, okay, in CSV format, which is available in my input container, and I want to move this in output one or output two, either of these, correct? And how I will decide? I will decide, on the basis of a parameter. Okay, so that parameter we can create on the top of data set, okay, and on the top of pipeline, both ways, right? So here we are using pipeline parameter. And why? Because once I execute the pipeline, the parameter will ask me which in which sync folder, in which sync data set you want to generate the output, you want to do the copy activity. So my pipeline consists of simple copy activity, okay, and the copy activity always copy the data from source to sync, right? It will copy the data from source to sync. Now my objective is to that during the execution of the pipeline, right, I am having a parameter which is known as output container or output directory, whatever it is, output container, right? So I will feed the value of this output container parameter as output one. Okay, and with the help of this value, the pipeline should decide that your sync should be changed to output one. If the value is output 2, the sync should be changed to output 2. If the value is output 3, the sync should be changed to value of output 3. Right? But switch is a something which so for example, if you have two different folders, two different directories, so switch knows that there is a two different directory, so only two case statement will be written over there, right? So we will Anyway, we will execute this use case so that you would be able to understand in more clear and crisp way. Okay. So now we can quickly switch to the case study. So I'm going to open the Azure Data Factory. So this is my Azure Data Factory one. Okay, I will go and create a new pipeline and I will give the name as PL underscore switch. Okay. So as I told you, I can go and let you know about the input which I'm going to. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's hide this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me show you the input. So I'm having this input one, having only one file sales underscore in. Okay, this is my file. Fine. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, extract the data here. So we have something known as sales underscore one, sales underscore in actually, right? .csv. This is the file. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a two containers, output one and output two. Okay. So the same example which I've explained you, I'm going to do the same stuff. So for this, what I want, let's have this data set created. So actually I'm having a data set created for this, and this data set is like this one. Okay, if you see the data set, it is pointing to, okay, this pointing to input underscore input directory sales.csv. So let's consider this only, no problem. Okay, let's consider in input we have sales.csv. There are so many files. Yeah, here it is. So you can see sales.csv is there. You can see the data. You can edit and see there are a number of entries over there. So we have total 1,000 entries available in this sales.csv. Okay, now what trying to do, I'm trying to so in this output container you don't have output one and output two. I can create these additional containers also, but I want to create on the fly, so there both options are okay. So this is my input, and let's create a data set for generating an output. Okay, so this is already created. You can create by yourself also. That's not a problem. So let's create an output data set, or don't worry. Okay, let's cancel this time and try to first of all go to a switch directly. Okay, so we can go to a switch. So as you know, the switch is nothing but it will switch to based on the condition. So based on my sync for container, it is going to switch my action. So description, I can give the some define. So switch between containers. Okay, that is output one and output two. Correct. I have provided some description. Now I can go to activities. In this activity, I have to provide the expression. So expression simply means that on what basis. So we are so expression of such activity. The evaluated case sensitive string value will be matched with each case. So you have to provide the case values. Okay, fine. So what value you have to give, like if it is input or output, but from where you will decide which one is the sync. So basically you have to create a parameter. Okay, got it. So basically it is asking for case statement. So in case statement, the condition is which one be will your sync folder, it is output one or output two. So let's create a parameter, okay, at the pipeline level, and that parameter will be used. So for example, if I have to create a parameter, I will hit on the white canvas and I will create a parameter. And what parameter I can say, like I can say output folder is the name of the parameter I am giving. Output folder, simple, correct. So string value I can specify by default value, or I can leave it blank, no problem. I'm going to specify by default value. Okay, That's not a problem. So I can go once again in the switch condition. And if my in expression, I will hit on this add dynamic content, I will choose the parameter value. So whatever parameter value I have passed, like output one, by default it is coming. Even if it is blank, at the time of execution, it will ask for the value and we can supply any value, right? So right now you can see you have this when once you pass this expression, you can see there is a default value. So nothing default action has to be there. So what activity I want to do? I want to do a copy activity. I want to copy the file from source and to these destinations, right? So I want to perform a copy activity, but I want to perform a copy activity based on some condition. It means what is the condition? The condition is if my output folder, okay, if my output folder value is output one, okay, so output folder is my parameter right now, which I just now defined. If my output folder value is output one, then I will copy the sales.in, okay, from the source, and I will put inside output one container only. If the value is supplied is output two, right, then it will again copy the sales in, but this time it will copy to sales 2, output 2. Okay, so basically that's why what I will do, I will first hit on the aid case. So I'm having two folders only. If I'm having 10 folders, then there will be 10 different cases, right? So in this 10, I will hit on this pencil icon, and instead of this case one, what I will say, if my value will be output one, okay, if my values will be output one, then what I should do, I should do a copy activity. So I will just drag and drop the copy activity, okay, and what I am going to do is I will quickly switch to the source, and this is my you can say ds underscore copy input. This is what I have already identified, that I'm going to pick this file. Okay, this is the same data set. Okay, and for sync, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new data set to generate an output. So basically to generate an output, but you know that in my this thing, output one, output two is not there. Okay, those containers are not there, so I'm going to create those containers on the fly. On the fly means at the time of execution, system will check whether any container is available with this name or not. If it is not available, it will create that. Okay, so I'm going to hit the ADLS gen 2 option, continue, then I'm going to put a CSV. I can put binary also, that's not a problem. Okay, but I'm hitting there just as a CSV. And why I'm not putting binary? Because right now my source is not binary, right? My source input is a CSV, so that's why I'm putting the CSV only, correct? So I will go and hit this ADLS Gen 2. Now I have to specify this thing. I'm leaving it blank. I'm not specifying anything here. Okay. I will hit on OK. So at the moment it is created with the this one. I will hit on this pencil icon, and this time, because I'm not hard coding it, I cannot hard code it, right? I cannot hard code the, you know, this container name. So what I have to do, I have to specify the parameters, because this is not fixed, right? Once it will be output one, output two, output three. So we cannot hard code this. This is the name of a container. So what I'm doing, I am just creating a parameter, and I am just mentioning the container name. Okay, container name, something like that. Okay, and let's not do anything else. Okay, you can just go to connection, and you can hit on this file path, because this is the place where container names comes. So instead of writing a hard coded value like output one or output two, right, we have to specify the, well, this is the container name, right, output one or output two. So instead of hard coding it, and you already know that this output one is captured in parameter of pipeline level, right? So what I will do, I will hit on this add dynamic content, and I will use this parameter, because this parameter I have created at a data set level, right? So that I can hard code it, right? You can see just few minutes back you have created this parameter container name. And why you have created this parameter container name? Because you don't want to supply any hard coded value here, right? So you want a dynamic value like container name, right? So you have selected it there, right, in this data set, right? If you want to rename this data set, you can just rename it ds underscore switch, so that it will We remember that it is the data set which you made for switch condition, right? To test the switch condition. So basically, if you go to the pipeline, you will say in sync, it is asking that what the value, because container name is not fixed. Container name is actually a data parametric data set, right? So in this data set, container name is a parameter basically. So what is the parameter? From where we can give this parameter value? So in pipeline, we already have a output folder name parameter. When we execute the pipeline output, either I will put output 1, or if I'm not putting output 1, it will by default take output 1 only, right? So here what I should do, I should again hit on dynamic content, and this time this is a pipeline parameter. If you hit on this output folder, you can see at the rate pipeline means this parameter value is supplied at the pipeline level, correct? So no problem, I will come again, okay, with this entire concept, okay. So let me come again and explain you. So basically in a switch condition, this is the switch condition, and as of now we have only given only one condition, okay, case one, those values output one, okay. And let me do case two, then I will explain you other thing. So in case two, what I will do, I will give other values output to. So if the value is output to, what I'm going to do, I will do the same thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm okay, one second. So I will go inside this one, because I have to do the same thing. So what I will do, I will copy this copy data one activity, okay, which I write, which I have written for output one case. So I can go here. So here, I will hit on this pencil icon and I will right click and paste it. Okay, so same activity is coming and pasting here. If you want to just modify it, you can say copy data, okay, case 2, something like that. Okay, so first one is a case 1, so the second one is a case 2, but everything is copied. For example, if you see in the source, because it's a simple source, it's not parameterized, it is pointing to one single file. In a sync, it is parameterized and it is taking data from the same parameter. Okay, so that's it. So this is done. Fine. Now let me explain you one more time and then we will see the results. So right now we are demonstrating and testing the switch functionality within Azure Data Factory. So as we know, switch is nothing but a functionality of case statement, right? So if you see, I'm going to switch between the containers output 1 and output 2. So what is my objective? My objective is I'm having a sales underscore in.csv or sales.csv. Okay, now I want to, this is available in the input container. And now I am having two containers actually to store this file. One container is output 1 or output 2. Right now I don't have any container, but I will create it on the fly. Okay, so I am having a Azure Data Factory pipeline. In this Azure Data Factory pipeline, once it is execute, correct, it will ask me for the value of the container, which container I want to, store this data. So what I did, I created a parameter for this, and you can see in this example, if you hit, this is the parameter of output folder which I created. Okay, so this parameter will be asked when the pipeline is getting executed, because this parameter is created at pipeline level. If you see, if you right click on, if you click anywhere in the white space, you will see parameter variable setting and output. So parameter, you have created output folder, right? So, and the by default value I have passed is output 1, correct. You can leave this as a blank also, that's not a problem. So when I'm doing a copy activity, so you can see, you can go inside the switch, and inside activity, I have defined two case statements now. Case 1, case 2. Case 1, if the value is output 1, what it will do, it will go and do the copy activity. It will take the file from the source, and where is the source? Source is here, you can see source is here. It will go to the input container and it will search for this file and it will fetch from there, right? Now in a sync, what it will do, it will first check, this is the pipeline parameter. So what is the value of pipeline parameter? Pipeline parameter value is output 1, right? So what it will do, it will only sync the data, store the data in output 1, right? So it will store the data in output one as per this functionality. Okay, because this is not hard coded, so we have already discussed this couple of times in the previous case study how to make the data set parameterized. So in this case study, we are discussing both the things, pipeline parameterization as well as data set parameterization. Correct. So same thing we have just copied and we have pasted as it is in the second case. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just hit on debug. So I will go to the pipeline, this is my pipeline, and I will hit on debug. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So right now it is asking whether I can change this value also. But if I'm not changing, then it will take output one only, correct? I will hit OK and I will wait for the completion. Okay, so now in the meanwhile, what I will do, this is my containers. So right now we don't have any containers, which is known as output one and output two, but it will generate all the fly. So you can keep on refreshing. So you can see switch statement is in progress and it also triggered copy data one. So copy data one is basically meant for output one. Okay, if you know, this is nothing, this is copy data one, this is for output one. For output 2 we have renamed is this underscore case 2, right? So let me go once again and see it is succeeded now. Now what you can do, you can go and refresh this and you can see both the output one is created, not output 2. Why not output 2? Because the second statement was not triggered, because we have only supplied output 1 as a parameter, right? If you go inside, you can see data is there, sales and .csv is there, right? If you want to test the other functionality like other switch condition also to execute, what you can do, you can again hit on debug and this time you can put like output 2 value and click on OK and it will trigger the second condition as well, right? So you can see it's running and it is going to be complete very soon. So let me go there in my container. Uh, so now this is succeeded. We can go once again in our container list. We can hit on refresh and this time output 2 will be there. Yes, it is there and you can see same data is copied, right? So this is how we have tested the switch functionality. Okay.